If you go down to the banks of Delhi's Yamuna River, you'll see preparations for something truly sacred. It's Chhath Puja, a time of incredible purity and devotion, where worshippers gather to honor the sun god in a tradition that, at its very core, celebrates nature itself.
But look a little closer this year, and you'll notice something else is going on. It's more than just festival preparations. There's a real tension in the air, a conflict brewing on the very ground that's considered so sacred.
Because this is what the preparations actually look like. We're talking heavy machinery literally carving up the land. Bulldozers are uprooting 6-foot-tall trees, stripping away all the natural grasses and marshes. You think this isn't just clearing a little space, it's a full-scale transformation of the entire riverbank.
So what is the true scale of all this construction? Let's dive in and take a closer look at what's really happening.
To give you an idea, near the old railway bridge, a 500-meter road is being built directly on the floodplain. And this isn't some simple dirt path either. It's a road made of stone and gravel, which compacts the very sensitive soil and completely changes the landscape.
And this is happening all up and down the river. Near the D&D flyover, natural pits are being filled with soil just to put up massive tents. Over by ITO, they've even built a temporary bridge out of plastic sandbags. I mean, everywhere you look, the natural environment is just being erased.
Okay, so you might be wondering, why is this such a huge deal? It's for a festival, right? Well, here's the thing. There's a very, very clear legal line that's been drawn in the sand, and it looks like this construction is just stomping right over it.
The real core of the issue is a 2015 order from India's National Green Tribunal, or NGT. And that ruling, it's crystal clear. Any construction, any leveling, or any alteration of the Yamuna floodplain is strictly forbidden. It's meant to protect this vital ecosystem, period.
And believe me, this isn't a new issue. Just 1 year after that ban was put in place, the massive Art of Living Festival is held on this exact same floodplain. Well, the NGT investigated, and in 2017, they fined the organizers 5 crore rupees for the damage. So the legal precedent? It's already there.
The expert committee's report didn't mince words. They described the damage as irreparable, which means it can't be undone. India's highest environmental court has already made its stance pretty darn clear on this exact type of activity.
So we know it's a violation of a court order, but let's move past the legal stuff and see what this means in the real world. What is the actual environmental price being paid when a floodplain gets scraped completely clean?
This slide really just lays it all out, doesn't it? A healthy floodplain is a thriving wetland, a rich habitat for birds, and it acts like a giant natural sponge that recharges the city's groundwater. The construction, on the other hand, replaces all of that with compacted soil, which completely destroys the habitat and its ability to absorb water.
And that's the thing to remember. This isn't just some empty land. This is a living, breathing ecosystem. It's a home for reeds and grasses that filter the water, for trees that hold the soil in place, and for countless species of water birds that depend on this specific environment to survive.
And this all brings us to the heart of the conflict. You see, this isn't just about ecology and law. It's about people and their deeply held beliefs. So let's take a look at the 2 opposing viewpoints that are clashing right here on the riverbank. From the perspective of the festival organizers, the logic is pretty straightforward. They're expecting a massive crowd of devotees for Chhath Puja. Their #1 concern is safety, and to make sure that happens, they believe the ground has to be made level and clear of any potential hazards.
But for environmental activists like Bavreen Kandari, the argument is just as clear-cut. She argues that the floodplain should be left in its natural state. What's happening isn't making things safe. She calls it what it is, an act of environmental destruction and a direct violation of the law.
So there it is, the central conflict, boiled down to its very essence. A sincere act of religious devotion on one side, and the urgent need for environmental preservation on the other. And the tough part is, both sides believe they're doing what's right.
And this raises a much, much larger question. It's one that will define the future not just for this river, but for cities all around the world that are grappling with these exact same challenges.
Let's just remember the spirit of the festival itself for a moment. Chhath Puja is fundamentally about worshiping nature. It's a celebration of purity, of the life-giving power of the sun and the water. There's a deep, inherent respect for the natural world at its very core.
And at the same time, we have to remember that the Yamuna's floodplain isn't just some convenient open space. It's a critical piece of Delhi's natural infrastructure. It's a defense against floods, a source of clean water, and a sanctuary for what little wildlife remains in the heart of the city.
Which leaves us with this final, crucial question. In a world with growing pressures on our environment, can our deeply held traditions find new ways to express themselves? Can devotion and preservation coexist, or does one always have to come at the expense of the other? That really is the question that Delhi and the worshippers on the Yamuna have to answer.